I'm Stephen Okonik with On Focus. The Town of Rock Board of Supervisors had their first opportunity to see plans for an approximately 130-acre sand mining operation to be located at the corner of County Road V and MacArthur Avenue. Cooley Sand Mining and Carbo Ceramics have applied for conditional use permits with the Town of Rock. Doug Schmidt from Cooley Sand Mining made a presentation to the board and citizens and took questions as a first step to begin this process.
Well, thank you. It's really a pleasure for me to be here. I've been working long hours on this reclamation plan. We've been working with Environmental Solutions, Summit Environmental Solutions professionals to help put this plan together. And it's like 451 pages long, but it's really not complete until I get your input. Because I really want to make this into a community project. You can see we've got some neat resource here that we can shape. Now there may be some duck hunters, I'm a duck hunter, and maybe we do something different than what we have here. But there's a lot of possibility in this, in developing this area for a long-term recreational use. So I'm going to provide you with some information about what we have in mind here. As most of you know, this land is really comes from the Hanson property, which is this area through here, and the Helgerson property and the Francine property. It consists of about 170 acres, which we plan to develop like what you show here. So this is kind of the end result of it. When we actually go about and create this, we'll be doing 10 acres at a time. We'll talk more about that as we get into it. So the plan will go right in here, and each of these sections here, we'll do one of those a year. This next slide, this shows where the berms are. So the first thing we're going to do, and we want to get this in this fall, is put some fairly high berms in. This berm helps protect the Ericksons. This is like a 20 to 25 foot berm here. These berms along here are to help isolate us, from people, along MacArthur Road. These are more like 10 to 15 feet berms over here. So we use the berms just to, to shelter us. Our goal is not even to be heard, not even to be seen. Tuck ourselves behind those pine trees and so we don't bother people. Because we realize that we come in and we can be a nuisance. We're trying to minimize that wherever we can. So this kind of shows you the mining operation. To excavate this out, we'll just be using an excavator, and we'll be running that just during the day. And each of these areas is about 10 acres. They vary from, there's one that's about 8 acres, there's one 11 acres, and that's about how much we do every year. So we do 10 acres a year. And we're not going to do the whole thing. You're not going to see one big open pit because we're going to reclaim it 10 acres at a time. If you go around and look at some of these other mines, you'll find a couple hundred acres all open. We're not going to do that. We're going to do temporarily open it, and the next year as we open up the second one, we're going to be moving all the overburden and reclaiming the one that we did last year. So you never see more than 10 acres that go unclaimed. That's just open as an eyesore. So the first part of this is excavation. The second part is we move using conveyors. We're not going to be using road trucks, but we're going to convey over to the crushing plant. We're fortunate that this land has really soft sandstone. In fact, you barely call it sandstone. When you scoop it up with an excavator, about 75% of it falls into sand. And we're just left with chunks about this big, but we throw those through an impact pressure that throws it against a wall to liberate all the sand. So that's the crushing part. And that will only go on during the day too. And then this is the main plant, and we're looking at putting this inside of a building. And this stockpile here is what the output of the crusher. So we'll have enough sand there to run the plant through the night. It's not a real loud plant, and it's just it's washing the sand. There's some screens that sort out the real coarse stuff, and there's like a big washing machine with paddles that wash it within water to really clean the sand, and then we put it up on the stockpile. And we'll be trucking it out We're looking at coming in with 3 trucks. We'd like to be able to run these 3 trucks 22 hours a day. We shut the trucks down during school, pick up and drop off times, so we don't even, bother, the school bus, during that time. But by doing it day and night, we can come in with 3 trucks, and that's all the trucks we need to haul out our product.
Yes.
So what information needs to be decided? Is this a done deal? Is this going in on hell or high water? Or
Nope.
is this,
As I stated, this is conceptual. This is what they want to do. This is what they want to do. The township and the board, the zoning committee and the board has the right to say yes or no. Yes, this is, like I said, that's like I stated, this is informational. This is what they would like to do. This is their best case scenario. I can say that the town will support. However, the town also has to realize they have to have cause. There is mining. Go on the Wisconsin, trust me, go on the Wisconsin Towns Association website. There is a whole section on mining, non-metallic, non-ferrous mining. And in order to deny permits, just cause, DNR regulations have to show, there's a whole list of things that are needed for the town to truly say no without having any legal ramifications where the township is forced to concede everything. There's a number of steps that have to go through this yet. So what you're seeing here is their best concept, what they are looking for. The town, because of our conditional use permit and our zoning, we can regulate a lot of the mining, anything that goes on at this property. So you have to remember that. We'll be having subsequent meetings, like I said, so a lot of these questions are important, but, and it's very nice that we get the input, but we will also be, establishing a citizens committee on something with this also, that for when they have to come up with the final conditional use provisions, that's acceptable for the township and acceptable for the proposed mine site.
I've seen a number of times, we're looking right out across the mine, so we got a lot at stake here. For those in the area, we have a log cabin up there, the work we put into it, so it's a really important project to us. So I would like to respectfully ask that we've talked about the fact of a committee being represented by the different interests, town, mine, municipal, public, private, that you respectfully consider adopting that, and we get people on that committee that can have that input, and I will be the first volunteer for that committee.
I found them warm and willing to provide input to make this a really healthy group, to do things with. I presented the overall recreational lake and land that we're going to put together, and several people, reached out. They want to be involved with us to help shape that, make that happen. I'm looking for a lot of input from the community. We've got, information from the environmental people that helped put together this, 451-page report. But, really the next step is get all the input from the people in the township and do something in partnership with them. So that's what we're all about right now, just forming partnership with the local township.
Truthfully, I think that the Cooley Frac Sand has done a good job bringing the proposals to us, getting the information out here. I was very glad to see the participation of the public, and that was here. And just seeing the first proposal is at times overwhelming. 456-page document is a little bit to go through, but the town is willing to take on the challenge, and the citizens committee that we're forming, I think, will come up with a good marriage as far as to help hopefully expand industry in the township.
The next step is for the township to hold meetings to take public input on the conditional use permit. The first meeting is scheduled for August 21st at 7 p.m. at the Rock Town Hall. The town has 60 days to approve, deny, or amend the permit. Please stay tuned for updates as the process continues. I'm Stephen Okonik for On Focus.